Welcome back to Diving Into Watches. And this week we are going to be flying into Seiko. And I use the word flying as a pun because we are going to be taking a look at the iconic, and it is an iconic watch that came out in the 70s. They first released it in the 70s, and it's gone through multiple iterations. Started out as an automatic, then moved on into a quartz, and then was discontinued, I believe it was in 2022, or maybe a little earlier, maybe it was 2021. But we're talking about the Seiko Flightmaster, made very popular by TGV or the Urban Gentry channel and so many other channels. But it has been an iconic watch to own for Seiko lovers. It's one of those watches, either you love it or you hate it. It's got a very busy dial, and that can be a detractor for a lot of people. But the Seiko Flightmaster is one of those iconic pieces that a lot of people who are true Seiko lovers and love types of flight watches will have in their collection. I absolutely love this watch. I wear this one quite a bit. It is a busy dial, but I like the dial. I like the functionality of it. It's a very cool watch, owning a really cool piece of history. It's a fun watch to own. It's nice. It's a nice size. It's right around 40. I think it's 40 or 41 millimeters. Maybe it's 39. I'll double check when we go to the bench on the specs. But as I stated, it came out in the 70s and it gone through a couple iterations. There's a blue dial one, which is very, very hard to get a hold of and very rare. And I want to say they discontinued it in 2021 or 2022. I picked one up. I was trying to pick one up last year, and I was only able to try to get through JDM, which is the Japanese domestic market. And I ran into too many issues, and the one was being shipped, and they got into customs issues, and I just said, forget it. It was getting too crazy. And I happened to be watching a video, or it was either a video or an email I got from Long Island Watches, and said that he had gotten a hold of some brand new in the box Seiko Flightmasters, and he was going to have them. Just didn't know how long he was going to have them, and so I instantly jumped on there and picked one up. Amazingly, I think it picked up for just a little over 400, but it's amazing how much they have gone up when they originally would come out. They were right between 150 and 200, and like most watches, once they become discontinued, the price starts to go north on these. And now, if you can find them new in box, still you're going to be over 500, 550. I see some of them going for up to $600, depending on condition, new in box. I know when you jump on Amazon, I didn't see any that had them. I think there were some used ones you could pick up, some different options. Joma Shop didn't carry them. Obviously, Chrono 24. I'm sure some gray market dealers have them. Obviously, eBay, but they are discontinued. They are not making them anymore. And so, if you're looking to one, you're gonna pay a penny for it. If you can get in the 400s, you're getting a good deal. If it's new in box, obviously not used, but most of the used ones I've seen are going the mid 550s, pushing 600. For me, that's too much for this watch. I think it's a great watch, it's an iconic watch, and I love that I own it. But there's no way I would pay $600 for it. That's just my personal opinion. You do what you want. I think either you're going to love this watch or you're going to hate this watch. But without further ado, let's jump over to the bench and let's get an up close and personal look at the Seiko Flightmaster, or as TGV likes to say, the Flighty. Okay, here we are on the bench taking a closer look at the Seiko Flightmaster SNA411P1. And before we get into all the cool features of the watch, let's go ahead and get into the dimensions. It is a case width of 42 millimeters. It is a case thickness of 12 millimeters, so it's very nice and thin and wears nicely. I think that's also because of the quartz and not an automatic movement, so it keeps that thickness down. It is a lug width of 21 millimeters. Not exactly the ideal 20 or 22, but 21 works, and there's plenty of bands out there that'll work that you can use just fine. And it is a lug to lug of 43 millimeters. This is a Hardlex crystal bezel. I'm sorry, not Hardlex crystal, Hardlex crystal or Hardlex glass on it, not sapphire crystal. But I do love the way it absolutely distorts. I think that's totally cool. It is 14.4 ounces in weight, so it's very comfortable and light on the wrist. It's 100 meters water resistance, so you can definitely go in the water with this, no problem. It is, as I said, a quartz movement. So those are the dimensions. The pushers are screw down pushers. You have to unscrew them to operate them. You unscrew them, and once you unscrew them and you press the top one, the chrono will go ahead and take off. You have the minutes, the seconds on the left, the minutes at the top, and the hours at the bottom here. The chrono hand is yellow, and then when you hit the top one, it stops it and then resets. It's not a flyback. it's going to go all the way around back to the top, and then you just go ahead and screw these back down to tighten them down. You definitely do not want to go in the water or undo these when you're not in the water. And then this is your typical crown. You just pull it out to the first one to set the date, and then the second one to set the time. I'm not going to go. It is a bi-directional bezel. It's very firm, so it's not going to move around. It's not going to get bumped a lot. It has a nice friction to it, so I would not worry about that at all. It is one of the big complaints about this watch is that it is a very, very busy dial. Sorry, I had a little smudge on there. That it's a busy dial. There is a lot going on here as far as the outer part. And then the inner part, because you can use this for all kinds of slide rules and all kinds of things. And there are lots of cool videos on actually how to use this, all these different things on the watch. I'm not into doing all of that. It also does have an alarm feature. It's kind of a little bit of a pain to set the alarm, but it does work and it can be done. You just have to pay attention to the book. The other downside to this watch, not necessarily a downside, but one of its weaknesses is the loom is not great. Just these little dot indices are loomed and the hands are loomed. I will do a loom shot so you can see it, and I also will give you a wrist shot on it. It is a polished case. You have brushed on the lugs, and then the sides are polished. And then then you have a coin edge bezel, which has a really good grip, and they have good knurling on both the pushers and the crown. And then the back is your typical Seiko back. It's a screw down case back. It's brushed, and then it's got 20 bar, which is 100 meters water resistance. Got serial number, steel. The movement is 7T62, which is the quartz movement. And then movement is Japan. I have this on a what do you want to call this? An elastic airborne style two-piece strap that I got off Amazon. I absolutely love the strap this is on. I did have it on an NDC strap for a long time, but now that is moved over to on my Seiko Arnie. So overall, I really like that. I love how the Hardlex is a domed Hardlex. You can see the dome on there, and I love how it distorts old school, 70s style distortion on it. I'm pretty rough on this watch, and I've not gotten any scratches whatsoever. I'm going to go ahead and turn the lights off, and we will get some loom shots on it and show you what the loom looks like. So stand by and we'll take a loom shot on it. Okay, there is the loom. You can see it's your typical Seiko loom. It glows fine, but as far as a loom monster, it is not. It's going to be fine for what you're going to need to do. You'll be able to tell the time, and you'll see the dimension. You'll see the indices are lit, and then the chronograph chronograph tip is loomed, and then you have the typical sword hands that are loomed also. So the loom is not super fantastic, but that is not the great feature that everybody loves about this watch. So let's go ahead and get the lights back on, and then we'll take a wrist shot of it so you can see what it looks like in a 6¼ inch wrist. But before I do that, real quick, I am wearing my Seiko King Turtle on a Zulu diver strap, which is probably one of the best straps you can possibly get if you want a full FKM Tropic style strap. I love this strap. Absolutely love this watch. I did a review on it a while ago. I will put the link to the review down below. This is just probably one of Seiko's best watches they make. A lot of people have a love-hate with them because they don't like the giant Cyclops on there. I could go either way on it, but I think this is just such a cool watch with the green dial and the grenade style dial, and then the ceramic bezel, sapphire glass, etc. So let me get this off, and then we'll pop this one on. Okay, there it is on my 6¼ inch wrist. I just absolutely love this strap, but you can see that the watch itself wears very nicely on a 6¼ for a 42 millimeter case. It doesn't wear like it's 32. It almost feels like a 40 or maybe a 39. It fits very comfortably. I think that's also because the lug to lug is only 43. It's not super wide like a 49 or 50 like some watches can be that are only 43 millimeters. So I think the 42 works well with this lug to lug, and it makes it feel like it wears smaller than it is, but it is a fantastic watch, and it looks absolutely killer on the wrist. So regardless of your wrist size, I think you can pull this off unless you just have one of those really massive wrists. I think this will work just fine. I'll also include some pocket shots so you can see what it looks like from different angles. So without further ado, let's wrap this up, and let's head back over to the studio so I can give you my final thoughts and my final review on the Seiko Flightmaster SNA411P1. Well, there you go, folks. There is an in-depth look at the Seiko Flightmaster. Hope you dig it as much as I do. I think it's a fun watch. I love the watch. I love the elastic airborne style strap I have it on. I picked it up on Amazon for really, really inexpensive, cheap. I think like 10 or 15 bucks. Um, it's because of the lug width. It's going to be in a little narrow side, so you're going to have to find what you like. I like it on the elastic strap. If you like it on different straps, let me know if you have what you think of it. Do you think everything it is? I know I've some people say they don't like it. They don't like the screw down pushers. They don't function. They don't break. I think it's a fun watch. I think it's a cool watch. I think if you're a serious Seiko collector, anybody's going to want this watch in their collection. And it was one of those watches that you're going to want to get your hands on before the price goes too crazy on them. But let me know what you think. If you think that I'm crazy, that Seiko Master is overrated or it's underrated, if you have what you like about it, or if there's a good alternative to the Seiko Flightmaster or a model we haven't seen, let me know. I would like to take a look at it. But again, hey everybody, thanks for watching the video. Channel's growing all because of you. We can't do it without you. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Please hit that subscribe button, give us that big thumbs up. And as always, stay tuned every week for a new video. And I'm diving into watches, and always, I'm out.